So let's get the word out over the weekend. Come Monday, it's going to be a different kind of week. Remember, we have some holidays coming up next week. We got Labor Day and then we got Eid. So quite a number of holidays. It's going to be an extended week again. Trinidad and Tobago, the land of holidays, you know, we love it. Sugar K from London is in the house. Thanks very much, Sugar K. We appreciate you. Get the word out to your English compatriots. We know that you guys are not going to be in the World Cup. They're not in the World Cup, eh? London, England.
England, yeah, they have 12 to 1 odds. That means if you bet £10 on England, you're going to lose £10.
Sugar K heard that. Jeffrey Logan, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the room.
Let me just, as I am here, say good morning to all the 104.7 listeners and to all the people following us on both of the live videos that are being broadcast. There's a 104.7 live broadcast video, and there is my social media video that's happening now. And good morning to you, Robert.
I see a gentleman by the name of Anselm Leboni, and I had a fight for a little while. As a matter of fact, I almost blocked him off my page. But I say he's a good guy. I'll still watch and see what he says. Good morning, Anselm. Thanks for joining. Send me a contribution, my friend. Send me a contribution. And hey, listen. Sugar K said no way England going to lose, but you gonna lose your bet.
Absolutely. Listen, gambling didn't exist for as long as it exists because people always had to know what win, you know. They had to have people willing to bet on England.
And don't forget, this afternoon during the lunchbox, you're going to also be having an opportunity for the Father's Day promotion. Name it for that. A song will be played. You've got to identify both the song and the artist. And your name goes into the vault. And 7 lucky people on Friday, I think we are saying. Yes, the announcement will come at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. We will let you know who has been the winners. So Philip, I was going to just delve into one part of this issue with Dulal Chan, and that was the part to deal with the permanent secretary. All this action started when she was, when the minister of agriculture, who seems to be the third star boy. Faris is the first star boy, Stuart Young is star boy 2, and now we have star boy 3. Star boy 3 is turning out to be this very, should I call it, what should I call it, general overviewed kind of minister, Rambarat.
No, he's just distractor of the week. Faris has run out of any credibility, as has Stuart Young. So nobody listens to them, takes them on, they get no traction nowhere. So now they have to find another, non-black face for the PNM to stand up and talk outside for the PNM, and Rambarat was next in line. All of it is foolishness. It's PNM distract the people policy program. And we had to just face it for what it is. You're bringing up this issue about Dulal Chan. I see Gary Griffith announced that he going and sue too. So we live in a banana republic. We live in a banana republic where last night, the parliament at loggerheads, the opposition walk out, everybody talking about race. We ain't talking about the job yet, We ain't talking about crime. We ain't talking about the responsibility of the police service, the failure of the parliament to write a proper law to appoint a commissioner. We're talking about who race what and who choose what on who race. And you see that foolishness is why I'm leaving it alone. And reading that Gary is going to sue as well makes the circus now a theater.
But you know what is nice? Is that the person who is in the middle of all of this as one of what should I call it? The low fruit that they have been able to pick off the tree. Her name is Sue.
Irony.
Angela Sue. Rambarat wrote to the Prime Minister stating he had lost confidence in Sue, Commissioner of State Lands Paula Drakes, and Deputy Commissioner of State Lands Bahamati Sicharan. The matter involving the lands is being handled by the Attorney General, Rambarat said. The minister has all the information, so asked him, she responded when she was asked about her reinstatement. That is Sue. She was expected to return to work on May the 24th, but proceeded to her annual vacation. Angela Sue is also considering legal action after being suspended from the ministry 3 months ago. She says, I really have no comment to make on this matter. When my name was being tarnished in the media, no one called me to confirm the information on the allegation. She went on to say that Rambarat told the Sunday Express that Sue and Drakes did not return to work and instead proceeded to their annual leave. The newly legal action or threat against Rambarat also stems from his decision to end the state lands case agreement with Dulal Chan. Rambarat decided to terminate the agreement, allowing Dulal Chan access to several acres of land on Chatur Road in Felicity. The PCA revealed that it had recommended that disciplinary charges be brought against Dulal Chan over a complaint made in 2011. PCA chairman, your good partner, David West, told the newspaper that he only received the letter last Friday and was preparing a response. Some letter that most likely was sent to him by maybe the minister or
Robert,
whoever.
they've made a joke. They've made a joke of everything. And somebody sent me that inside of all of this is a financial land grab that wants to take place. All of a sudden, the permanent secretaries and everybody who is involved, the commissioner of state lands, everybody in Couture now, the entire state machinery that runs Trinidad and Tobago, nothing must work. The Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago must be collapsed. So Keith Rowley could go to Austral and spend billions of dollars to buy boats from a company that sold us boats before that didn't work. All because a PNM financier, former minister, is the local agent for Austral.
I thought I was. I really wrote them telling them that I would love to become the agent. But I think that letter and threw it away.
Yeah. Listen, the failure of the state to respond to the issues that is taking place by government and opposition right now is exposing to the people that nothing in Trinidad works. Nothing, at no level. There is no integrity commission, no DPP, no justice system, no courts, nothing that works. The entire court system itself, the system of appointing judges has collapsed. The system of appointing a commissioner of police has collapsed. The Chief Justice dusts his hands of everything and all allegations and gone on multiples of vacations, while people who making allegations against him dying.
Well, no, the information that came up indicated that the person who died really wasn't a person of interest in that particular matter.
The man who fled to London is panicked. He is panicked and he's worried for his life.
Well,
and he has said that information has been made available to foreign law enforcement that wants to have him sent back to Trinidad. And he is petrified.
Well, I mean, he's in a territorial area.
Robert, nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago. You have to start your conversation from there because nothing works. If the parliament doesn't understand that the parliament's job, all 41 of them, is to streamline and stabilize the country, and they could write a law or amend the constitution, all 41 of them, if they agree, could write a law or amend the constitution today if they so desired to make it possible for a commissioner of police to be appointed. But we don't want that. We want political control over what's supposed to be a separation of powers. So as long as Keith Christopher Rowley or anybody who sits in the Prime Minister's chair can continue to be the person responsible for the reappointment of the acting title to the Commissioner of Police, the Commissioner of Police is beholding to the political directorate, and that is a confounding of the Constitution.
Well, I want to agree with you. I want to say good morning to Kenrick Grunham and Keisha Lewis, and of course Jamie Panduri says good morning to both yourself and myself.
Morning, Jamie.
So very good morning to all of you. Thank you very much. Get the word out. I mean, let's get this technology up and running. Share with us your thoughts, your comments.
How was KPMG appointed? How were they appointed? So select?
I don't have a clue. As a matter of fact, I was looking at KPMG the other day when I was considering the issue of Petrotrin balance sheet. And I am in the process of writing KPMG to give an accountability to me as a private
But citizen. I want to know how KPMG was appointed first of all and paid millions of dollars.
To who? By whom? Appointed
Keith
by
Rowley.
No, appointed by whom? For what?
To read resumes to appoint a commissioner of police. What they were paid millions of dollars. There are two questions to be asked. One, value for money. Because you could have hired any. I see Holik Rajkumar Consulting get $100,000 from Petrotrin. Petrotrin just spent a further $63 million in consulting fees. Petrotrin there's this joke where they did an employee evaluation, where the person who was sent to evaluate the employee wrote on the bottom of the employment evaluation form, this employee has reached rock bottom and has started to dig. Petrotrin reminds me of that. Petrotrin reminds me of that. Petrotrin has reached rock bottom and has started to dig.
But
Robert, we will never,
Philip,
Robert, we will never come out of the hole. Oil have to reach $150 a barrel and be sustained for about 6 years for us to just break even with Petrotrin. It is an insanity. And we continue this insanity because Keith Rowley marched with Ansel Rocher. And for you to get gas in your car, they will hostage you so that Petrotrin could continue.
I hear you.
We're living in a nation where some stupid morons read shock doctrine.
I hear you.
All you need to do is terrorize the people of Deep South so that you could hand a contract to Junior Sammy to fix Mosquito Creek and nobody need to know the terms or the details.
250 million.
We don't care. Spend $1 billion. Oh God. And that's how shock doctrine works. Cause the problem and then you cause the solution and people don't care. People don't care if the replacement for the superfast glacier costs 100,000 times more than the superfast glacier because Tobagonians just fed up now.
No. Tobagonians are already decided they're going to vote PNM again and give the 2 seats to the PNM. And what is in the mix is that the Tobagonians have said, listen, we don't mind suffering for another year or 2, but we sure come 2020. We have 2 brand new boats and we look good because it will be subsidized again. We'll put them back in power so that we will enjoy, enjoy the put.
And we'll do a deal like we did for the helicopters. We will buy a 30-year maintenance package and we will house in Trinidad and Tobago more spare parts than the company who actually makes the helicopters have, and we will cancel the helicopters.
Yeah.
So we have parts and a maintenance contract for a service that we do not use. We've grounded the helicopters while we are paying a maintenance contract to keep them in the air, and we've purchased in front the spare parts to keep that happening. We're going to do that with the boats. He is going to do that with Ostal. He's going to top load, front load, heavy load that deal. And he'll come back and tell you, if we have a maintenance contract for 50 years, it'll cost us less money. But they're not telling you that those boats that they're buying from Ostal going to join the scrap heap that calm growing in the bushes in Chagaramas.
Yeah, there's a big talk about that. But let's get back to the situation of this issue of the Dulal Chan position and this Angela Sue. When you sit down, as I shared with you earlier on in this week, about the issue of the oil for food program that was found in a very corrupt position at an institution called the United Nations, and you look back at these simplified situations here, you have to ask yourself whether if you take that parallel line and run it for Trinidad and Tobago against the United Nations, if the people who were sitting at those very high levels of the society was influenced by the money, and we're not talking the little peppercorn money we was getting Trinidad here. Them guys was at $100 billion we're talking about. And 30% of that is 30 billion. And the man who shared in that 30 billion was the orchestrator of it, the late great orchestrator Saddam Hussein. The man was able to, although they had a United Nations embargo to guide the money for the purchase of oil, for the purchase of food, he was able to still extract 30 billion out of that 100 billion and put it in the pockets of significant people. I didn't say million, eh? I said billion.
No, Robert, you're talking that. Cancun, a county in Mexico, their tourist earnings last year was $36 billion US. We are in an insane country, Trinidad and Tobago. We are focused on, to be honest, things that have no matter and value to the actual people and the real things that matter. There are hotels in Cancun now greater than 5-star. There are hotels in Cancun called diamond class hotels where employees actually earn more money than medical professionals. To be a waiter a member of the service staff of a diamond class hotel is in such high demand, waiters, waitresses, busboys, bribing, lining up, willing to work as interns for free just to demonstrate their ability because they know once they get inside. You see, this is a country that never said Massa they done. This is a country that understood that if you offer good service, your people will be paid so frightfully well that they will have a glorious life. Eric Williams said we escaped the English not to go back and serve them coffee and tea. But that was foolishness because the English go in Cancun and making millionaires of waiters,
yes,
waitresses, cooks, chefs, and busboys.
Right, 21 minutes after 11 o'clock, that time check comes to you with the kind of super quality. Let me welcome Kenrick Brunham, my son Paul, Joanne DeVerney, and Joey Ningwai. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Tell me how the most beautiful island paradise on planet Earth,
You're talking Barbados?
Tobago. The most beautiful.
Because you're at Tobago, then you want to pick
Robert,
up that?
come now, man.
What part of Tobago better than Barbados?
The nylon pool. Barbados have a nylon pool?
No.
Barbados have a no man's land?
But
Barbados have the oldest old growth reserve forest in the world. Barbados don't have 1% of what Tobago has. Barbados don't have a pigeon point.
But they have
Pigeon
100%,
point.
but they have 100% of tourists.
But that's because Barbados have a government. We have something that masquerades as one. The Pigeon Point jetty,
Wow.
with the little hut at the end, became, the
I
international symbol. You used to own Pigeon
Yeah,
Point.
everyone
Became the international symbol for tourism. Tropical tourism.
Sabga went and
And
bought it
wherever.
and 120 something million with.
Listen, the point there, but that's to facilitate a nice sweetheart deal with the THA. How much times they pay for that? How much benefits they get for that? This entire country is rotten to the core because we continue to vote charlatans and jackasses into government. Keith Rowley cannot explain to the nation how 3 years into government, almost, they've done nothing to facilitate tourism development in Tobago. Rather, they've destroyed that island's economy. Just organic growth of normal tourism, if you had facilitated the arrivals through cruise ships and airlines, Tobago would have been booming on its own. Tobago's economy on agriculture and tourism could eclipse Trinidad's oil and gas economy.
I would believe that.
But they want to fool you. They allowed local food import companies to tell Trinidadians nonsense that it is cheaper to import food than to grow it. And when we find out that growing tomato and lettuce and kale in Trinidad and Tobago is less than 20% of the cost of what they're importing it for, they stand up. Now we're in a problem because Trinidadians realize that they could get involved. Now you can't get farmland.
You see, one of the problems again with this whole agricultural industrialization policy is that unfortunately nobody has taken the opportunity to write a prescription, like he's a doctor. 45 acres is necessary for cocoa in order to yield Y amount of pounds to generate that amount of dollars. Because the way they're behaving is as if to these things we have to send a man to the moon.
Rocket science.
Yeah.
Rocket science. Robert.
He's sending up like the sugar
Robert,
and rice.
but it's consumption data.
Yeah.
It's national consumption data. And it's easy to get,
It's easy to get.
You know how easy it is to
And
get?
best practices is even
You know how
like
easy
it-
it on all, or it in customs and excise.
Yeah, for sure. Because
All
of
your
the
bill of lading
importation.
documents,
Yeah.
all your bill of lading documents right there for the last 20 years will tell you the consumption data of the country.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
you have an idea. Trinidad and Tobago is acknowledged as having the best, if second best, if not the best, grade honey in the world right now.
Yeah,
Honey.
that is a subject matter that when you get into that one, it has so much problems with that based on the rules, regulations, and laws of various countries because honey is a protected environment.
Not a problem at all. But you see, they have 5 different World Trade Organizations, and we just woke up to that fact that you could export. Trinidad is a dot. If we were exporting to China, if everybody in Trinidad was making honey 24/7, we still couldn't sell 1% of the order. That's a fact.
But that is the whole problem with what you call mass numbers.
But
Mass
Robert,
numbers. And the same thing applies to India and China.
we don't have to grow. We don't have to compete with corn and wheat and sugar. We never had to compete with those things.
But there's a necessity though, Philip. With that said, there's a necessity for us to understand that you have to also make sure that you satisfy your domestic needs.
Absolutely.
And that means to say that somebody should have already done the scientific analysis to say that we need 600 hectares.
But
or
what
whatever it is
about
in China.
this? What about this? What about this? Because Nestle and SM Jalil buy more sugar in Trinidad than Trinidad can produce. So Nestle and SM Jalil were always allowed to import their own sugar. So I'm assuming Cannings and Coca-Cola, well, whoever the Caribbean bottlers, Solo, and the rest of them also, because you can't give one a subvention and the others not get it. So sugar was always a SOP. We have the opportunity to grow long-term sustainable cash crops that don't require much maintenance at all. We have hardy crops. And I'm trying to understand. Look at Greece. Greece economy is built on olive trees. You know you harvest olives with a rake and rake the tree, mash it up, run into the tree and pull them down. Because breaking the branches and all the leaves that coming off prunes the tree. Next year harvest bigger.
Yeah.
Next year harvest bigger.
Like grapes.
Next year harvest bigger. Robert, why are we not growing for export? Because you see, once we get our foot in with a food exchange internationally, the things we need, we will get at best price because we're providing food to the world. Trinidad will be important. We could be growing for export, breadfruit, soursop, guava, mango, citrus. These things don't require you to come and water them and weed them.
True.
They're growing and they're bearing for decades. Julie mango, avocado. Avocado earns Mexico $1.5 billion US every year for an avocado that doesn't come anywhere near to our, was it Pollock?
Yeah, the Pollock.
Butter avocado.
Oh boy.
We have the best in the world. And we even talk cocoa. Every time you talk cocoa, they talk about cocoa disease. All right, leave cocoa alone.
But don't even go cocoa. I listened to the Minister of Agriculture speak about cassava the other day in the Parliament. And Philip, I had cause to go and pull it up on the internet to see what is the yield factor for cassava. Because we are importing wheat flour for the purpose of bread and whatever in Trinidad. And we haven't even started to think about the substitution possibility of a what should I call it? Of a percentage of cassava flour.
But of course, they have countries in the world, Malaysia. Go and check how much cassava flour they're using. But
look at Malaysia. Then we go to a place that they call backward.
No, but you see,
the African continent.
No, but you see, I want to tell you, cassava is still high glycemic. When you're getting on in life, when you cross 30, 40 years old, you need to make sure all of your diet is as low glycemic as possible. That means you're not ingesting things that peak your sugar, spike your sugar. You want things that become sugar over a low glycemic, stabilizes. Breadfruit is the only starch that does that. And breadfruit flour is a real thing. You get breadfruit flour in Starlight Drugs and Superfarm today. You have to pay $50 a bag. We could be growing breadfruit here.
Oh yes, in abundance.
Lincoln Myers brought dwarf breadfruit from Malaysia to Trinidad when the NAR was in power. The same Clarence Rambarat from the PNM that want to kill the Buffalipso. Buffalipso gives a high yield milk. He's saying that the country, the taxpayers, when I read this foolishness that Clarence Rambarat hand to the copy and paste media, and the copy and paste media give this to the public, like if this is fact, that we are spending money to mine Buffalipso. Robert, buffalo.
The unfortunate thing is we went, I think, from 3,500 head of buffalo to almost zero.
Robert, buffalo, you could see you used to be able to see buffalo from space. Buffalo used to move from one end of the United States to the next. Nobody would have mine it, guide it, or give it directions. Buffalo know where to find water and where to find grass. You trying to tell me that we couldn't secure them and provide them with feedstock and water? That's all they needed. What Clarence doing? Clarence going there as a midwife when they're giving birth? What is the taxpayers' money being spent on? Are we grooming the Buffalipso? The yield of milk, the quality of the milk of a Buffalipso apparently has a much higher butterfat content than we get from normal cows.
I want to say good morning to Lionel, Siram, Robin, Imam Shaway. A long time I haven't heard from you, Robin. I hope you're doing well. And Aaron Bujurat. Thanks very much for your comments. Get the word outside there to everybody. I mean, we'd love to make sure that we have this backward and forward arrangement. I'll be able to deal with you. I mean, it's going to be a lot to deal with, but we're going to try to put it together. Get the word out. This is a phenomenal media, a phenomenal platform. You can sensitize the public on anything. Once it's making sense, send me your concerns any day, including on a Thursday when Philip is here. If you want to address an issue with him, you're free to put it up on the chat here, and I will bring it to his attention. In the meanwhile,
social media.
Yeah, but it's the biggest thing since sliced bread.
Listen, Fazir Mohammed argued me for years. I told Fazir, I said, Fazir, one of two things will happen. You will end up on social media, or you will end up out of media. CNC3 Guardian trying to find a copy for me, because they know I have a live show every night. It has massive numbers, and they want to copy that. They created Louis Hart Tuesday and Thursday, and it busts. It busts. They create Akash Samaru now doing a thing at the end of the show once a week. It busts. They get 3. You see, it's easy to get 3 days of a live following, you know, but to sustain it, that content and information, you could only crack the same joke twice before people say, "Hey." They move on to see who is the next person talking.
29 minutes before 12 o'clock, that time check comes through the kind courtesy of Rodney's supermarket. Rodney's outside there in Rima.
The well-being of the citizenry is the function, purpose, and reason for government. There is no other reason.
I hear you saying that, but we have to go past that. That is more.
Whereas,
no.
The first line of the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago says,
understand.
whereas the people of Trinidad and Tobago have affirmed that. You know what that means?
I hear you.
You have a copy of the Constitution with you? That's what you reach for?
No,
Whereas the people of Trinidad and Tobago have affirmed that. And the reason I want to tell Trinidadians this again is more important than the president, the prime minister, or the police. Is the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This country, Robert, is a victim of mismanagement caused by ethnic voting from a people who have been fooled into believing that voting for somebody who look like me will protect me. But I want the people of the PNM to explain to me how the entire rogues gallery who have made off with billions of this country's dollars don't look like them. The rogues gallery.
Explain that to the people. You know this highfalutin.
But a rogue is a word. A rogue is somebody who's taken advantage. Rogue is older than time.
This is a new word for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You're talking about rogue.
Rogue.
You think Trinidadians of the ghetto know what the hell rogue is?
A rogue is somebody who operates differently to how they appear. You expect that the prime minister of a country to have the people's interests at heart. I want Keith Rowley to debate me. I want Kamala Prasad as well. Even Basdeo Pandey, but I doubt that. I mean, people will tell me I'm cruel. But I want to ask them, has your term in office been governed by the fact that the security of the people is the purpose of government? That the happiness of the people is the purpose of government. In the United States of America today, they have a massive problem. It's embarrassing. They have more jobs than people. Today, there are more jobs in America than people. And not just Subway, KFC, put some fries in a bag job. Sustainable growth jobs. America has turned the table on the Asian Revolution. Because of course, when middle class reached China and India, wages went up. So it was no longer sustainable for American companies where the consumption takes place to go to China and Asia. Homegrown jobs could happen again. My phone replaced a watch, a phone, a camera, a computer, a laptop, a torchlight, among other things.
A vibrator.
Well, it depends on what you're using your phone for. But the industry changes. You brought record pressing technology to Trinidad 20 years ago. When you would say Kiskini was here, say 20, 30 years ago, right? In that 30 years that you and I watched the change, record pressing plants gave way to CDs, gave way to DVDs, and then everything went MP3s, and in one lifetime,
we saw multiple changes.
All of those industries were born, ran through the product life cycle, and died in less than a decade.
But in difference, the way you say, the record pressing plants have returned.
I know. I bought my father a turntable for Father's Day, and my mother cussed him because his music day and night now, because he had all his records. And for a certain generation, a record more important to them, the tactile, the feeling, the collecting.
I picked up a set of them I saw throw away on the side of the road. A guy called me once, he says, Mr. Man, they threw away a set of records on the side of the road, but you want them? I said, bring all.
Trinidadians don't know what we have now. You see a
He got
Porsche.
about 400 from me.
You see one of the most expensive cars in the world was found in Trinidad.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But let's talk about who you want.
I don't want to go into that conversation, but just saying that to you. But come back to this, that we have to understand the way of the world. We have to understand where the world is going. When you get into information technology as a business, they tell you, you don't plan your product for what is happening in the world today. That's what killed the biggest phone company in the world. When Barack Obama was elected President of the United States, BlackBerry stocks were soaring. By Barack Obama's second term in office, you were using BlackBerries to hold up a table if it have a twist leg. Because nobody was buying BlackBerries. Everybody went to iPhone. And BlackBerry was late to respond to touchscreen.
Yeah, that's true.
And that destroyed BlackBerry.
But they have good value still as a history, as a piece of history. Let's not forget that.
Let's not. But I'm just saying that you have to follow and monitor where things go. BlackBerry went big because of BBM. That's BlackBerry Messenger, which put instant secure messenger in your hands. A company, when BlackBerry Messenger was holding on to that, a little company created something called WhatsApp, which was a version of BBM for Android and iPhone. That company just sold for billions of US dollars. And that's not technology, you know. That's code. There are people writing code in rooms today to create apps that sell for hundreds of millions and billions of dollars as advertising platforms.
But with the new laws in Europe that is taking effect with regards to what happened with Cambridge Analytica and all of that, I think all of those platforms that have that type of, should I call it, openness, where the provider of the information is not protected, that they will see some sort of legislative difficulties as time.
Well, the owners of the platforms like Google and Facebook, who have allowed open-ended development to grow it exponentially, it's like this concept that you know that certain things could be done better, but it is cheaper for you to hold on to lawsuit money. A car, for example, a car could be made safer, but it is less costly to hold on to lawsuit money and settle cases rather than make a car safer, because a car would be more expensive.
I hear you. 23 minutes before 12 o'clock, people, we're going to pay some bills. When we come back, we're going to rejoin the discussion. Danish Kumar, thank you for joining. Thanks very much. Again, as I say, post, not just join. If you have an issue, if there's something you feel you want to get feedback or updates, or you want some kind of discussion, or you feel that there is an issue that requires ventilating, put it up on the system, okay? Put it up on the system. Take care. We'll be back.
Conveniently located at Trin City, Couva, and Endeavour Road, Chaguanas. Come experience the comfort, ease of shopping from your one-stop for variety. Look out for our weekly specials. For further details, 223-9715. Super quality, never beaten on price.
Looking for some tasty soup today? Well, the place you need to be is the Bossa Soup. If it's not the Boss, it's not the best. The Bossa Soup is open every day.
We're on break. Ads running.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
So I'm answering all of your WhatsApps.
7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Any day of the week you feel the urge to eat a soup, come to any one of our outlets and pick up your favorite soup. Locations in Port of Spain, number 48 Traffic Road, in Diego Martin, at West Beams, in Arima, corner of Prince Street and El Carmen Street, in Sandy Grande, Two-Way Road Junction, Chaguanas, opposite Medford Gas Station, and Point Lisas, inside Atlantic Mall. Locations nationwide, so there's no reason why you can't have your bowl of soup whenever you like. The only place where you get a bowl of soup every day. The Bossa Soup. If it's not the boss, it's not the best. For more information, call 389-4455.
And redeem your Magnapoints at our two stores. Release Supermarket, now has two locations, Fugger Brewery and the Shops of Arima.
TC, Savage
Production presents Rewind Part 2. The cassette edition. But Border Point Roma. Saturday 25th June, morning 11 p.m. and Saturday at midnight. Get ready for the kings of the cassette. Massive Dr. High. And the Hitman, OET.
You just remember that you're live on social media? When you cut for break, that phone was ringing just now. I want to teach you how to turn off data when you're using the phone for live so it can't ring. That's an iPhone, right?
No.
What is it? It's the same thing, right? Because your phone, inside your phone, they must have something that controls the phone, right? When you control the phone, what I do when I am using this phone is I click call forwarded and I forward the calls that would come to this phone to another phone until I finish with it as I like. So the call wouldn't come there.
Chicken breast, $10 per pack, 25 feet forward.
I'll forward it to the office phone.
For $10. Ibis flour, $10. It's the coconut
Alright, coming back.
3 for $10. Mabel Mori, 750 ml, $10. Mabel ketchup, 2 for $10. Elana macaroni, 400 grams, 3 for $10. MP baked beans, 2 for $10. MP red beans, 2 for $10. Onions, 6 pounds for $10. Potatoes, 7 pounds for $10. Rainbow peas and carrots, 2 for $10. Soap, 135 grams, 3 for $10. Swiss ketchup, 2 for $10. Swiss macaroni, 400 grams, 3 for $10. And toilet paper, 12 pack, $10. Fasano Food King, Mayaro, Rio Claro, New Grand, 2 locations in Princestown and Point Fortin, always with best quality, competitive prices, and the service that is second to none.
We are back 18 minutes before 12. 18 minutes before 12 o'clock. And that time check comes to you with the kind courtesy of Hearty Foods. Hearty Foods in Arima. Remember going down there today, very much specials, and they're located in the vicinity near the dial. It means to say that when you go there, they provide you with parking, so no wrecking for you. You'll be able to shop in comfort without having to worry about the most efficient part of the police service, the wrecking service.
Only thing that works in Trinidad.
Oh, works very good.
The only thing that works.
Even 6 inches over the yellow line, they take you.
If they don't know, the onus is on you to prove them wrong. They'll still take the car.
Yeah, but they come in now with camera and taking picture. They're really off the mark, you know. They're technologically savvy.
And imagine
they have DNA for parking.
And imagine if we were as serious with the rest of law breaking as we are with wrecking. Forget all the other crimes.
We'll be okay.
Forget all the other crimes. Imagine if you appointed a corruption czar and you tell him, bring all the corruption to justice and 50% of what was stolen is yours. Because Trinidad get back half.
They like the money.
If you, Robert, that is what makes the record work.
But that's the same.
That's what makes the record work.
That's the same thing at the UN working so efficiently.
But that's what.
For food program.
But that's what makes the record work. If
money.
If you tell me that you bring back $1 billion stolen, say by Malcolm Jones for the gas to liquids plant, and you prosecute that, and it is successful, and $1 billion is repatriated, look, $500,000. Look, $500 million. $500 million. That's yours. To the corruption czar. And
I don't mind being the deputy.
They will never do that because the people who sit down in the parliament, Keith Rowley, Kamala, Pandey, all of them will end up with questions to answer. You telling me that you were the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago when the Piarco Airport was being built and NIPDEC was doing what is wanted and you didn't know? Then you should have been fired for incompetence. The people need to understand what is the purpose of government in a country this small, Robert. It's all about management.
It is about management.
There is not one single issue. Look at the States. Look at Canada. Snow falling, blizzard, and the bus running on time. The bus running on time.
Procedure, policy, and of course...
No, because the business community will make sure they fire the mayor if the boss start bringing their workers late.
In Trinidad, we give
We promote him.
We promote him.
We promote him.
We like the record industry.
We promote him. If
in the music industry, when they
If
make
Bernie
mistakes,
Madoff and Arthur Sanderson was in Trinidad and Tobago when they committed their crimes, they'd both be in Parliament today. They won't be in jail.
one will be the prime minister, and will be president.
Yeah, don't make and pardoning each other. Don't make no joke, but it's a fact. And Trinidadians have to take responsibility for this, Robert.
But that is
Because
that's the real crux of the matter.
if your children eating mud this morning,
It's their fault.
if your belly swell up and you're hungry, you vote for that.
Yeah.
If your mommy line up in San Fernando General Hospital this week for 5 hours and reach the counter and they tell you, well, sorry, we ain't dealing with that again today, you vote for that.
You know the woman who went into the place irate that went up on Facebook that cuss and carry on and said, look at them, they're doing nothing. You know, our police had to do the same thing in San Fernando the other day. A man, an old man, 67 years old, come in with a big chopping on him. They pick him up and bring him there. And when they're reaching into the casualty, you know what the people in the casualty department tell them? We changing shift. A live person who was there.
Robert, a
experienced
police
that.
officer called me and tell me his mother, like many other elders, are standing up in the yard of the hospital. Their pupils dilated for surgery to replace their lenses for cataracts. And they announced that they don't have the lenses. Go home. Listen, when people tell me that it is not the medical professionals to blame in the hospital, it's the politicians, I understand that. But to the irate citizens in casualty who trying to get medical treatment for their loved ones, the first line is the medical professionals. And if the medical professionals understand the nonsense that is taking place in public health, they too need to start to make some noise.
Well, you see, we are, as I was making the point this morning, the whole issue of national planning is really not a priority for all the politicians. Politicians in this country don't plan.
No, because you see, the people not lighting them up. What you give attention to gets fixed. If 100,000 people show up in General Hospital today to protest the condition of the public health in Trinidad and Tobago, change tomorrow.
But
if you made a law that Keith Rowley, Maxine Coffey, Kamla Prasad Basesa and Rudal Munilal, if they fall sick, have to use public health works.
You know, as you talk about that, did you see the published information? Coffee granted leave for June.
I don't want to hear any more about that. I've moved on from that. Robert, Diego Martin West. What? This is Port of Spain South?
And he said George made the announcement at the start
No.
of yesterday's sitting that Coffee had requested leave from Parliament for the month of June. I wonder if she ever made that since he went for the 5 months article. Has she ever? In the 5 months?
Robert, if the Speaker of the House of Representatives cannot produce to the country a sick leave certificate or a fit for work certificate, she is breaking the law.
No, she breaking the law.
And they don't care because they're distracting Trinidadians with foolishness and we're getting caught up in the thick of thin things and nonsense. I worked it out. If we're spending $5 billion on public health every year, then that's supposed to translate to $122 million per constituency for health. That means Diego Martin West, where I live, gets $122 million, or should get $122 million. Now, I worked it out.
No, we have to explain. It's
Half-
5 point something billion divided by 41.
Is $122 million. Now, look at this. The Carnage Health Center, if you rent it, you ain't paying more than $100,000 for that building. 9 nurses, 3 doctors, round the clock, 24/7 a day.
The point you're making is that $122
$500,000. $500,000 a month, $6 million a year to run the Carnage Health Center or less. It can't be more. So we're spending $122 million. $622 million is 20 health centers Diego Martin West should have. It has 2.
And one going
It
to
has
be
2.
refurbished.
The people of Trinidad and Tobago have to understand. Now, when A.A. Lakis was given the contract to outfit the Diego Martin West dental suite, dentists told me that we bought overpriced foolishness, badly set up, and can't do the job. How did A.A. Lakis get that contract? Was it put out for tender? There's a small group and clique of people in this country quietly sitting back, gorging,
Receiving a lot.
while the rest of the country is suffering. You cannot tell me that what you are saying is a public health facility is what the people are getting for $5 billion. Robert, we're spending $14 million a day.
I'm hearing what you're saying, Philip, but we have to, next time we talk, we have to bring you numbers, okay? Here's what you have.
What more numbers you want than that?
No.
$500,000 an hour is public health.
No. We have to look at the $5 billion that is in the books. I'll bring it the next time.
I don't want to look at
No,
that
you
book.
have to see.
Robert, by the time,
No disrespect here. That is the arrogance. You have to change.
where's the book for THA? Where's the book? 15 years.
It's there.
Where?
The problem is not that.
You
It's
see in the
there.
allocation, where's the expenditure report on which the parliament rely for the
All
budget?
of those things are legitimate for you to ask. But I'm saying that we must take the opportunity to express the information in an authentic way.
I agree with you, but when there is no numbers,
We cannot just bandy a number on the air without giving, and I'm not saying you are not right.
Robert, if there was a commission of inquiry into public health in Trinidad and Tobago, plenty big people in society
There were two.
would make a jail. Not at all.
There were
was
two.
no, not at all. Not at the level of asking these two questions.
Which is?
What are the requirements of public health for Trinidad and Tobago to operate effectively?
All right.
And what do we get for the money that we spend now?
Okay, good. So
If you give somebody a project, and I'm telling you this, if you give somebody a project to identify the amount of public health centers that you need in the country and how much general hospitals you need in the country, you could get an actual number, and I'm telling you, it is not even 20% of what we spend. Manning, Kamla, Pandey, Rowley, $60 billion, Robert. $60 billion in 12 years. What did we get for that?
I hear you. We take a break. When we come back, I will try to see if I can give you some answers. Stay tuned, people. We'll be back.
Speaking to Dr. Hyde.
That's why they don't want me on radio. That's why they don't want me on TV. PNM found out that we were going on Synergy TV and went and spent all the money they had to buy up Synergy TV time. But if I have to walk in the sun and the rain to bring this information to Trinidad and Tobago, I will bring it. It is time to end this foolishness about distract the public with nonsense while the dish running away with the spoon and the whole treasury. They're on a break. Share the video now. You all know the drill because you're getting information. So out of this information that you got in this video, 500 of y'all should make your own video today. Trinidad needs to know. We cannot continue like this. We will end up in a crisis. It coming. And the people who take in all the money out of the treasury, they don't build house outside, you know. They don't have car park up in the garage, toothbrush in the bedroom. They don't need to pack a suitcase to leave, you know. They just need to dig out all your money in Miami, in Paris, in London town. And all the arguing bullshit. I must sit down in meetings and talk nonsense with people when what I hear for is to wake up Trinidad and Tobago. When I sit down in a meeting, and I say this to everybody, when you want to meet with me, when I sit down in a meeting, if we're not going forward, I'm not there. I have no time to waste. And I'm saying this to everyone. If you want to join the Progressive Empowerment Party, understand what we're about. If this is not about winning an election and fixing this country, I have no time for this. Today's Thursday, lunchtime. I could be Maracas Beach with Shack and Bake around my mouth. Or they shut down the Shack and Bake huts. What they did. And all you vote for that. All you vote for that. Food and drugs. So that means they can go back and sue the Ministry of Health for all the years, the 6 years that they were in operation. Trinidadians don't know their rights and they don't know their responsibility in a democracy. And that is the reason those charlatans in the parliament were able to get away with what they have gotten away to this point. And until you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, wake up and start to do your part, we ain't going nowhere. All this talk, waste of friggin' time.
Hairstylist, esthetician, and makeup artist. If you love glamour, have a passion for spa life, and know that the customer comes first, call or send a WhatsApp message 725-3030 or send us your resume at totallypolishedgt@gmail.com. You asked for it, and now it's back. Colors of Love. Colors of Love. Part 2.
You saw this lady whose child, we're trying to find out if the hospital punctured this child lungs, this little baby, and the baby died while she just trying to get answers. We had to raise $7,000 to pay for a private autopsy. It's madness in this country. You could kill people in the hospital. People could die, and you have nothing to answer for. Every time a human being dies in a developed country hospital, there's something called a mortality conference. You have to answer. Somebody is responsible, and they have to be able to prove that this was natural causes, that we couldn't stop this. A doctor will lose his license. If the mortality conference cannot defend the doctor could be sued for everything he owns. They're burying that child today. Keep that grandmother in your prayers. They're burying the grandchild today for trusting public health in Trinidad and Tobago. We vote for that. We line up in the sun and the rain, and we tell ourselves, this one look like me and that one look like me, I'm voting for that. We have no clue or concept of what they're standing for or what they plan to do once in office. So you voted for you voted for golfers and drunks and womanizers. You voted for manifestos.
4 minutes before 12. 4 minutes before 12. One person, when I said you were arrogant, supported and said they don't see arrogance in you, which is Joy Polaya. She said what she sees is passion.
Robert, 104.7 is one of the last bastions of democracy in this country. And I'll tell you something. If people feel that their opinion of me is what I'm in this for, they're on the wrong track, wrong man. I'm not here for friends. I have no time to waste. I'm still trying to be, I'm 51 years old. I want to enjoy the rest of my life.
A young boy.
I'm a young boy, thank you. But I've given this time and this effort 24/7 a day, a week, to try and get this country to a better place. Our job, you and me, is to inform, educate, and empower the people. You're not liberating them without them being educated. So when people want to come and talk nonsense, I have no time for that. You shouldn't either.
George Josiah, Urban, and Lauren Bradley, thank you very much for joining. Trevor Burke, thanks a lot, and of course Joy Polia, appreciate. We're getting to that time when it's rare because coming up now it's going to be lunchbox.
4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. And I want you to agree with me, Robert, because they have this point you have to agree with me on, because if we don't educate the people to this point, we lost.
Yeah.
That there is a function, a purpose, and a reason for government. Everything. You don't go to a hardware to buy a drill to have a drill. You buy a drill because you want a hole.
Yeah, you want to do something with it.
A drill have a purpose.
Yeah.
A government has a purpose.
Yeah, must have a purpose.
What is the purpose of government?
Yeah.
The purpose of government is my well-being.
Yeah, has to
The
be.
purpose of government is jobs, water in your pipe, electricity running, price for food,
Well,
cost of living, the ability to own a home, security.
I say development.
Last night I shared a video on social media that showed the Coast Guard, the New York City Coast Guard. A boat was approaching the coastline. I tell people about a maritime security wall, and I showed them last night. A boat was approaching the coastline that ignored the Coast Guard. 3 interceptor boats and 2 helicopters in the air, and they stop him in the water. The first boat went right up to the boat and stopped him physically. They don't mix matters, you know.
You can't.
They're under instructions. Sink him there, you know.
Yeah,
He cannot reach the shore.
Yeah, otherwise he could be more dangerous.
We in Trinidad and Tobago, you could sail up the Caroni River, load it to anything you want.
Three truckload
And you're going to buy more OPVs and foolishness to stunt for people.
Waste of time.
The Coast Guard that you have can't man or maintain what we already have.
But you want to add more.
You can't put diesel in the boats that park up in Hartscott, 6 park up in Chagaramas, 2 outside Hyatt, and the borders open and porous. Trinidad does not have a government. We have something that pretends to be one on TV. And until the people wake up to their responsibility in this democracy, we ain't going nowhere.
No, I agree with that. And I want to share that view and express my what should I say, sentiment that when we call on you for the property tax to see how serious you are, because we have 2 holidays coming up. You have no damn excuse.
Make yourself available. Make yourself available.
If you don't come, I say to you now, I only talking sex talk.
No.
I gonna change my program.
No.
Intimate program.
No.
I will share with you all the
There are
different-
elections coming.
That's
And we
okay.
must make sure between now and then, Robert, I saying it. Between now and then, you must be able to say,
Philip, we will be dealing with sex on the radio.
thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, 104.7, all the loyal listeners.
All right.
Stay safe, Trinidad
We
and
are
Tobago.
out of here, people. Up next.